Hello, lovely ladies. So before I start, I just want to say how amazing you all looked, even though some of you came, I'm thinking, really, really early. And I want to say happy Women's Day. Give yourself big applause, because you're amazing in every way. So nice to be here and in the Opera House of Dubai. I'm from the neighboring country, so I'm from Oman. My name is Basma AlSayyida. I've been doing mental health for around 23 years now. It's been amazing. And a lot of the things that we heard today and yesterday, like women are trailblazers, women are leaders, they're movers, you know, they do so much stuff, they have so much creativity, they're strong, they're. But let's think, what happens behind the scene of being this amazing woman? There's so many things that go on that maybe we don't talk about. And I've noticed in a lot of conferences, people actually don't talk about it. Today I'm going to try and just ask you, what about mental health? What about that taboo topic that nobody always says they want to talk about? What about that topic that on, everybody keeps on saying, oh, is it a taboo subject? Is it a taboo subject in your side of the world? Because in other sides of the world it's okay, which it isn't. Does anyone think, through that trailblazing woman, all the women behind the stage today, and all the women who have been doing things today, do you think that they went through a little bit of stress? Maybe a little bit of disappointment? Today, we're all sitting here. I can't go through all your brains, but I'm sure there's a lot that's been happening, and that's happening. And there's a lot of things that make us go through all these stresses that we don't talk about, because sometimes we think, then they'll think we're weak. But it's natural, and it's normal. And it's abnormal to say that I have no issues at all. Are you shocked with that? Because today, if you come here and you tell me, by the way, I have no issues at all, I'll be like, you need help. You know, because this is not normal. You can get a bit stressed, you can get a bit fearful, you know, it's okay. You can be a bit depressed. And now, honestly, in this time and what's happening in the world, really? You're okay? We all are going through a lot of things, and I'm sure you guys know that, and we're all going through PTSD. We just came out, we're still kind of in a pandemic. But as humans, we're so good to adapt. They were like, wear the mask, we wore the mask. Take off the mask, we took off the mask. You know, wash your hands, okay? We learned how to make conferences online. We learned how to live, and that's what humans do. But let's go back to us lovely women. Let's go back to stuff that goes on in our beautiful body that some people just say, oh, she's pretty. Oh, that's good. We heard earlier on, being a model, but what's happening inside? There's a lot of biological things that happens to our body, and it starts from a very early age. So usually in my clinic, oops, sorry about that. They told me not to do that. But anyhow, they usually say, is it men that come to your clinic more or women? I think it's women, isn't it? I'm like, why do you think it's women? They're like, because women have more issues. I'm like, really? Or is it because we're able to talk about it? And that's healthy. Whilst men, I actually feel sorry for them sometimes, if you're here, that you have been brought up not to talk about it, not to feel weak. And that is wrong. That is very wrong. And I think as mothers, sisters, we need to give everyone the right to feel how they should feel. It's very, very important. So we have a lot of hormones going on. And sometimes I always ask people, how do you guys know that in a certain time of the month that we have a problem? I mean, who told them? I'm really pissed off for this woman who went and told a man, you know, I have my menstrual period, don't talk to me. Because they've been using it on and on and on. And every time there's something wrong with us, they'll be like, oh, I know. You're not okay, right? You're in a board meeting, and then later on your colleague will be like, are you okay? And you feel from the way he's looking at you like he means something. You're like, I'm okay. But we have used that, and it's not that we don't feel the pain. We do feel the pain. I understand fully, believe me. But I think we've used it sometimes in the wrong contents, and that needs to be revised again. Another thing is, oh, this is tricky. Culture. All cultures, how do they see women? Today we heard about social media, right? Social media is a bad and a good thing. If it wasn't for social media, maybe we wouldn't have known about this conference, some of us. If it wasn't for social media, we can't now connect quickly, right? But on the other hand, as women, comparing ourselves, looking at others from a very young age, and by the way, it's not new. A long time ago, not very long, not very, very long, kind of long, I remember my mom telling me and my dad, stop watching the TV all the time. It's a bad influence. Or stop listening to those songs, some of them are not okay. And by the way, I don't know if you guys feel this, there was a lot of songs that I used to listen to as a teen. And as you grow up, I don't know if this happens to you guys too, I actually now notice the words. Some of them are like, what's going on? I used to love the music. As you grow up, you start focusing in the words more because you become more mindful. So a lot of things have been happening to us, and a lot of things are going to happen, by the way. This is not the end. Every century, every time, there's going to be something popping up. So we can't really fight it, but we have to learn how to deal with it. Now, socially, in every society, women are seen in different ways, of course. But some things are the same everywhere. And when it comes to also mental health, it doesn't matter where you're from, what religion you are, or what's your background, you're a human, you're going to go through what the other person on the other, on the North Pole is going through. So it's not only that, it's how we are. We're dealing with a lot of things. I always like saying it's like we're a disk or computer, and we come new and everything is clear, and lovely, and then there's an overload, right? Because we have a lot of things like our phones as well, and then we explode, right? Unless we reboot, unless we recognize all these things. So major life transitions. I want to take you on this journey. I'm sure a lot of you have been in it as well. Teenage. And now they call them young adults. I apologize, not teenagers anymore. And every time somebody comes to me to the clinic and complains about their young adult, I'm like, did you forget that you were also a young adult? Did you forget about what you went through? And especially in societies, there is a child that will go and ask their mom, oh, do you remember Basma? And they, oh yes, Basma did this, that. So there's no use to show that you were the first in class and you were amazing and nothing went wrong with you. Honesty is the best, actually, to speak to them too. But in this age, a lot of things kick in. The hormone bit kicks in. You're now thinking, how am I going to look? What's going to happen? What am I going to study? A lot of things happen in this age. And sometimes you get overwhelmed. And you only stay with your group because you feel no one else understands us. And I think we hear this a lot, right? Nobody understands us. You guys don't understand us. Because they feel that it's a time for them, it's a transition. And this is where they start, living their life and start thinking, okay, what do I want to do when I grow up? It's all in this age. So actually, this insane world that's happening, it starts really early. And it doesn't start only later on. And then you think, okay, I'm done with school. I think now I will go, to university, and it's going to be better, and everything's going to be rosy, and I'm going to succeed, and then bam, another thing happens, another stress, another kind of issues with people around us. Now, not everybody goes around us. Some people are fine, but some people get stressed out, and they feel like nothing is working. Everything I try, it's not working, because the dream I had isn't actually panning out. And then you start thinking about your career. And I clearly remember, at a very young age, I've always wanted to be a psychologist. It's something I've liked. I used to like doing it in school. I used to like reading a lot about it. I used to love something called Freud. It was like out of this world for me, personally. But when I wanted to go and study it, around me, people were like, you know, it was the 90s. It was all about IT. They're like, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to do, you know, computer science and all of that? And I'd be like, no, but you're so good at it. I'm like, why? Because I know how to switch it on and it does that crazy sound. Yeah, if you guys, I guess you guys remember. It used to be such a hassle. But for me, psychology was something that I actually was very passionate about. And I felt personally it would be good, and also for people around me. And being from the family I was in, I was like, why can't I push this? If I'm able to push it, then others maybe will feel it's okay to talk about it. So I come from a mixed background, actually. My mom is Irish and my dad is Omani. And it's both quite interesting, I must say. And it's both worlds that have made me today. I'm able to live in both cultures. And to add to that, my parents, also my father was an ambassador, so I was able to learn from a lot of cultures. And that's how it helped me. So when I came to choose to get married, I don't know how you guys felt about it or how it happened. Each one of us has, I'm sure, a very interesting or not interesting story, but it's always a story. And at that time, for me, it was like, I need someone who will actually look after me as well. I need someone who we both walk together. Nobody walks in front and someone behind. If it's him or me, I need someone who I can think with. And you know, when you're younger, you have this image of this person. I want him handsome, I want him to look like this, and I want this, that, and the other. Very rarely that happens when you get married. When you get married, it's a totally different story. And you think, oh, but I wanted that style, but this is actually better. Maybe that one wasn't as strong. So having that also is something that takes you into in-laws, takes you into another whole dimension that you might not be okay with. There might be so many challenges. And that also makes your life complicated. So there's so many factors in our life that we go through. I'm not saying men don't go through it, but as women, we're seeing that it should be normal, that we should just go through it quickly and it's our normal place. But that's not true. A lot of times, when you're younger, you'll be like, okay, so you're going to go to school, then you're going to go to university. Then you're going to work. Then you're going to get married. Then you're going to have children, you know, and of course you're going to have a job. So it's kind of planned out for you. And the moment you think, I don't want to go into this road, maybe I want to turn to this, people are like, oh my God, why? I'm like, because I want to, no, but aren't you going to be worried? You might fail, it's a challenge. All of those talks that we keep on hearing, and we heard today how failure is actually a very good thing. It's not bad. Actually, not failing is quite boring. And a lot of times when people ask, what's your challenge? I'll be like, I'm the challenge. Because I would decide, do I want to go through this or not? I could just give up so easily. And how would life be if there was no challenge at all? Making this event today, the person who thought of it, I'm sure there was some challenges, I'm 100% sure. But if I give up, then I'll start giving up about a lot of things. And that's what's good about women, when they actually put their head to it and they believe in themselves. And the superpower of having high self-esteem, which is a superpower, I tell you. If you have that, you're going to skyrocket. It's a magical, I think they should find another Marvel, hero that should be called the super, self-esteem woman or whatever, because that's what really works. Pregnancy. Oh, if I could only tell you the stories I heard before I got pregnant. And every story is always negative. Before I got my period, it was like, oh my God, you're going to die from pain. It's so bad. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be painful. And that went, okay. When you get married, oh my God, you're going to die from... It's always a negative story. And I learned early that I think some people, maybe I shouldn't listen to them. It seems like they've got this really bad negative vibe. So when I got to this, I wanted to get pregnant, and I was studying actually with my master's in Australia with my husband who was doing his PhD. I was supporting him, and he was supporting me. That's where I started my family. I had my daughter, who today she's 15. I had my twin boys. I have a picture of my graduation, and they're amazing too. Thank you so much. And I had my daughter later on. But the idea of if you're pregnant, you can't do anything, you know, it's not a disability. It's actually a go, and it depends on your environment. So in Australia, when I was there, I would, you know, I'm pregnant, I'm going, I'm coming, I had the baby, I came out after 1 week, I was like, fine. When I had my youngest in Oman, it was a whole different story. And I wanted to have it in a kind of a luxury, and there was people helping out. In Australia, I did everything myself. And everybody would be like, why are you going out? You need to sit down, you're pregnant. This is my fourth. And I've had one, and I've had twins. So I think I've gone through. And I had a natural and a cesarean. I literally can write a book. I've done it all. And they were like, you shouldn't move. I'm like, why? Because you're pregnant. I'm like, huh? Okay, are you sure you're okay? And I'm okay. Remember, I wasn't here. I came with children. And it's because I had that supportive husband, actually. And not to sound like, oh, just don't pretend like old men. This man, actually, if it wasn't for him, I would not want to have more. Because I think if you see that someone is not on the same line with you, why are you having more kids? He's not going to help you. You're going to be alone. You need a team. It's teamwork throughout, by the way, even later on with the kids. So having that child, having the kids also is something that you think about, especially if you're working, right? You have a job, you're doing stuff as well. I showed you guys the video, and that's part of my life. So I would wake up, see the kids, I have clinic, I see patients, and then I have meetings, and then I go home, and then I have to also, we have events. So I'd be a guest of honor, dress up again, come back, sit down with the kids, sit down a bit, watch a bit of Netflix just to like zone out a bit. And then people be like, oh, how'd you do it? I'm like, it's passion. Honestly, it's passion. And it's something that I chose to do. Menopause. I have a friend who just keeps on talking about this. And I'm like, can we talk about other topics? The moment she sits down, if I tell her, oh my God, I have a headache. It's coming. I'm like, what's coming? You're going to have a headache. Again, negative. I'm like, why is it always bad? I'm kind of, there's a part of me that's a little bit happy about it, because there's a bit that I'm not happy with right now. But again, these are things that we go through. Loss and grief. We lose a lot of people on the way. We lose ourselves, and that's the greatest loss. That's the worst loss, is to lose yourself. Because once you lose yourself, there's no going back. You lose your job, you lose friends. So you have like 10 friends, right? Slowly it becomes like that one friend, and maybe some days you don't want to be that friend. So life changes. Discrimination. This happens everywhere. And it's not just gender, it's everything. Sometimes women, between women, have discrimination. And sometimes women do not support, sadly, women. And if we want to be strong, I always imagine like we're a chain or we're a necklace of pearls. If one falls, believe me, we will all fall. But if we're holding on so strong like this, nobody can enter, nobody can break this bond. But we seem to have women who keep on thinking about me and not us. And that is really bad. So I hope within these conferences and these places that we learn that, because that is something very important. Abuse, harassment, things like that happen to us all the time. I see a lot of cases, and sometimes women don't know they're being abused. Psychological abuse is the worst, and nobody knows. They actually think if it's not a hit, if it's not sexual, then it's not. Okay, so try and zoom through this. I don't want to sound so typical, but honestly, I've practiced mindfulness, and it's so difficult, yet it's so amazing. I mean, all of you are here today. Some of you are not. You're on your phone, you're thinking what you're going to cook, what you're going to eat, where you're going to go. We're never actually here 100%, and that's how life is. In prayers, we're supposed to be 100%, you know, there. Every time I come to pray, I remember everything I lost. Like, well, I know where that thing is now. It all comes through prayers. But it's because I'm quiet. So mindfulness, gratitude, being thankful of what you have is the greatest power of all. And I learned that through COVID, by the way. Sports, I'm not going to say I'm a gym person. When I came to the hotel, they're like, oh, and we have a gym. I'm like, good. I'll watch it on the screen. But I like walking, for example. I like dancing. I love dancing. Okay, so isn't it good? I love it. And of course, connecting with who we love. You know, the right people, not the yucky people. The people who put you down, the people who are narcissists. They're not your friend. They're not happy for you. And, of course, come to us. If you can't, come to us. It is not a stigma. It's actually become a lifestyle. Somebody was shocked yesterday that I did this for 23 years. And I'm like, yeah, but people only think it happens now after COVID. They're like, oh, mental health. I'm like, huh? We've been talking about it all these years. But I'm thankful that we're there. So I have this last question for you. Do we have a choice? Do we? Are you sure? Thankfully, because a lot of people think we don't. You have a choice, you have a choice, you all have a choice. It might not be a good one, it might not be a pleasant one, but it's a choice. So nobody say, I can't do it. Try. People said, in the mental health, nobody wants to hear about it. They don't. I was like, I'll try. I'll do everything. I'll do from music, arts, everything, just to get mental health to where it is and show people it's okay. So I really like, this is my last slide. I like this quote, and it's from Maya Angelou. My mission in life is not morally to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some fashion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. And that's what women are. Even though we've had a crappy morning, but we come, we're like, and you are awesome, and you have to believe that. Nobody can make you believe that if you don't believe it yourself. Nobody at all. And always remember that change always begins with you and not anyone else. You're awesome. You've been an amazing audience. Thank you so much. And lots of love coming your way.